Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new voiceover tournament game. We've got your favorite CombatWombat here against a player on Discord who goes by Joke, our Sir Lolalot, perhaps. Anyway, here we go. Pretty standard deployment here. Nothing fancy in a tournament game, just want to go with what I think is the best overall deployment after many recent experiments here. Going with Assault Carrier, Star Destroyer on each of the main points in the middle of the board. Death Star and ATST back guarding the core. And terrorists are going to be up in Nalhutta, where you would find terrorist cells, no doubt, up with the huts, syndicate folk. So what to do in a tournament game here? Nice and conservative. Subjugate rebels, prevent production, and destroy rebel ships. So we'll see what we've got here for the rebels. They're going to start out with 4 missions, it looks like here. Now, we don't have enough to do a gather intel, which is what I like to do if it can't be blocked. And you'll see I have planetary conquest, but I took Mahdi. So planetary conquest is kind of awkward, especially when you've got Moncal open too. So after much deliberation, I decided to just go with no missions. We'll see if that's a mistake or not. Rebels open with a rapid, and Tag gets down to business subjugating Naboo. Now, it's important to put enough up in Naboo to discourage them from building an Utapau, or if they do decide to build an Utapau, then you can go in and crush it nice and quick. Next play for the Rebels. Doesn't really matter what it is. We know for sure we're going to Bothui, probably with a full fleet. Going to go ahead and sabotage Salust. All right. It's not too bad. Don't hate that. Although, Leia on sabotage, Reekin, yeah, that makes sense. Reekin on rapid. So we got probably an infiltrate and then a build alliance. So Vader's going to go about subjugating Bothui, and he's going to bring the house. That way, if the rebels were to attack early next turn, say they build alliance in Nalhutta, and then come into Bothui, I've got a nice force there to deal with it, and I can deploy there as well. And Dodonna is on Build Alliance, which means trouble. So it means Mothma's on Trade Relations, which means if I don't block this, they would have 3 Moncals on the queue, whereas I would have 0 Star Destroyers. So I have to block Dodonna's because I'm not going to beat Mothma on a 3+2 V3. So we block Dodonna, let Mothma get her Trade Relations out. And then drop Bespin and Corellia. So not a great start. They got 2 builds from Kashyyyk. They got 2 Moncals on the queue. Yep, not looking great. All right, so we got our build up here. Now, one fun little trick here that you can see with deploying is if the first turn you get a starfighter, build a striker, and then you can deploy the striker next to any rebels that deploy. So, for example, rebels deployed in Kashyyyk, I'll drop a striker in Mandalore. What that does is oftentimes they'll drop a vanguard somewhere with the idea of if you bring in an ATST, they'll take it down. Or even if you bring an AT-AT, they'll have a shot at it. So by bringing the striker, you threaten to cancel that card. So they've got 2 vanguards in Kashyyyk. Everything else went in the base. I just sort of spread around a little bit. I drew Fear will keep them in line. That'll be a nice card here. Then also a rule by fear. I got to get some board control here to build some capital ships, or even maybe a loyalty in Ord is kind of what I'm thinking. We'll see, maybe a Star Destroyer up, and Fear will keep them in line, and to take Felucia and Moncal. All right, Rebels open by hiding in Kessel. Okay, so now we just got to take it slow, let the Rebels make the first move, do all the obvious things. So we know we have to take Utapau, so We'll go ahead and take that now. We'll leave a Stormtrooper and probably a TIE Fighter behind in Naboo. Reason to consider leaving a TIE Fighter is because it protects against an Incite Rebellion, doesn't let them build there. If I had the probe card, I'd probably move the TIE, but because I don't, I'll leave it there. And then we've got a Rapid. Okay, do another obvious move. We'll go ahead and use Tag to take out Kashyyyk. So now we'll bring the Striker. Always important to move it over so that way your opponent knows you have the Striker card. Sometimes people leave it behind and then point out hey, I have a Striker back there, but I think it's more fair to move it over there so they can see it. So he plays it anyway. I cancel the card, and then now I've got enough metal there where this should be an easy fight. Take out the 2 Vanguards, and he's got to roll doubles to get which he doesn't. So survived, and this combo makes it, it seems like a lot to bring in for 2 Vanguards, but it's more to just protect against a future Wookiee uprising. That's kind of an awkward group to try to take down with the Wookiees. All right, where else do we need to go? Let's see what Leia's on. Oh, good. Leia's on Build Alliance, which means Mothma's got something fun she's doing too. All right, so Build Alliance in Rhodia. Now that's actually really given me pause here. So we already have a Sabotage in Seleucid. We already have a loyalty removal in Rhodia. To me, that really screams out Tatooine. Plus, they're trying to draw my forces from Bothawui over to Kessel. So instead, I'm going to move Seleucami up, or move up to cover Seleucami. And then we'll see what Lando's doing here to see if there's anything else that pushes me down. You'll notice Mothma built another Mon Cal, so we're still dealing with 3 Mon Cals anyway. 3 Mon Cals and 2 frigates for capital ships for the Rebels. 0 assault carriers, 0 Star Destroyers for the Empire. So Emperor's going to build Alliance in Utapau, try to take that next turn, and Lando, see where he sabotages. This will probably be a pretty good indicator of where the base is. Possibly. It's Naboo. So to me, this says, look, I don't want you building in Naboo. I don't want you building in Rhodia. I don't want you building in Seleucid. Means we're probably hiding in Dagobah. I mean, not Dagobah, probably Tatooine, maybe Rhodia, or maybe Geonosis, probably Ryloth. So it's important to bring enough over here to do some serious damage. And if he's in Ryloth and starts deploying all those Mon Cals there, I'll never get enough Star Destroyers up north to deal with it. So I'm not going to bring the assault carrier just because I need to try to knock those Rebel troops off if they retreat away from that Star Destroyer. But I'm going to move to Tatooine, cover it, and then I'll use Fear Will Keep them in line to flip both Ryloth and Geonosis. So I've covered that entire sector with that move and that card. Unfortunately, the base was not there. If the base was there, I think it would be very close to good game. He did have a Rapid, so I guess there's a chance. But instead, he'll just look at cards. So that's 2 card looks, so he knows the bottom 8 of the deck now. Okay, he's got a pretty good idea of where he's bluffing. Maybe he knew in the first 4, maybe Ryloth was in there and he was just bluffing it. I don't know. If he did, that was good use of that card to draw out. I didn't really get much production from that I wanted. I'm definitely losing the capital ship battle here. Couple of not so productive probes, one of which I'm on, one of which I'm going to. I'll go ahead and take Ozzel because that's an automatic. I passed on the Jabba the Hutt card, even though I have Mahdi. I just can't afford to not take that with Ozzel. Ozzel's just too good. So we'll take Ozzel, and we'll figure out deploying here. Rebels don't have anything to deploy this turn, but they have that huge fleet coming up. So I got to see if there's a spot that I should cover. There's really not, now that I already covered that top right corner. They're probably in Endor or Dantooine or maybe Yavin or Ilum, maybe Kessel or Mon Cal. We'll see. So I just got to deploy, and again, no ships, so nothing fun here, just ground units. So I'll spread those guys around. It's important to put a ship in Geonosis and also Ryloth, again, because I don't have those probes. If I put a troop down there and he builds alliance, he can then incite rebellion and clean that off for a rapid. So better to have a ship up there, I think. Then Han is going to go ahead and recruit his friend Chewie. So that to me means I need to get out of Kashyyyk because he might be holding on to Wookiee Uprising, and I can't afford to lose an assault carrier right now. I have very, very few ships, so I need to play super protective. And interestingly enough, okay, Lando is moving troops out of Seleucami. That's kind of weird. Okay. So I got Mahdi's card. Got Mahdi's card, and I passed on Jabba the Hutt, which means I have to get rid of Mahdi probably here pretty soon. So I'm going to go ahead and use his card. We've got a couple of good sabotages I can remove. Because he played Han and Lando, I'll be able to hold Mahdi until after he sabotages. So he'll either need to remove 3 sabotages or roll 2 dice to risk losing a rep. So I think that's a good trade. I'm not ready to Planetary Conquest anywhere. At this point, I'm probably saving it for Rebel Cell. But I like the idea of continuing my Build Alliance game. I got to get Utapau under control here. Get some capital ships on the board. And Old Man is launching an attack at the Star Destroyer with Kessel. So he's got a Y-Wing, an X-Wing, a Corvette, and the base. The base is here too. Emptying the base. Okay. Definitely going for that Star Destroyer kill here. Now, what to do here? So, unfortunately, I don't know if he's in Toydaria, Kessel, Mon Cal, or Felucia. I would say in order of likelihood, it's probably Mon Cal, Kessel. No, probably Kessel, Mon Cal, because otherwise, why attack out? Especially if I had no troops there. I guess he was probably worried about Ozzel. Anyway, I'll send Piet. I can't lose the Star Destroyer, so I've got 2 damage on it. I roll the block hits, or I roll the Overwhelming Presence to block 2 reds. I got a decent chance of surviving this. And Lalalot rolls a pretty disappointing roll here for him. He's not going to re-roll the reds. He's just going to do a damage onto the Starfighter. All right, so this Star Destroyer is going to survive, and what's nice about having re-rolls, I don't need to re-roll for heals. I can just try to kill as many fighters as I can here, which will be nice. Piet rolls 1, so maybe I'll try for a Corvette. Can re-roll 3. Question is, do I try to save that tie, or do I roll for all re-rolls? Yep, for hits. That makes sense. Okay, another heal. So not too great of rolls on either one of us. So I will kill a Y-Wing and damage a Corvette. And then he will stay. And I will retreat back to Mandalore where my troops went previously. I have an interesting possibility here. I could leave the ties and try to kill some more starfighters. If I do that, he most likely, I don't know what he does. Maybe he plays the block hits card and tries to keep them alive. I don't know. Part of me thinks I should have kept the TIE fighters there. But, c'est la vie. Okay, so we know the base is somewhere. Got a big old gaggle of rebels up in Seleucami. Interesting. All right, well, round 3, and we've sort of foundished the base. All right, rather than attacking, because I'm not going to win that, I'm going to consolidate and move these 2 assault carriers to Toydaria. and also move the armor from Kashyyyk up, and the armor and stormtroopers from Bothui up. The reason I vacate Bothui is I don't need that Star Destroyer in that quadrant anymore, so he can come back to Bothui and provide backup, which I like. So we'll do that. That's our plan, at least. I'm just going to temporarily let the rebels do something, and he actually ends up passing. So Leia's probably on subversion. And Mothma passing too. That's interesting. Don't know what's up with that. Okay. Covering Toydarian, not the base. Oh, I guess he didn't pass. Maybe I just went out of turn there. I'm not really sure what happened. Pretty sure I just went out of turn. Anyway, play 5,000 games of Rebellion. You can see you still make mistakes. All right, so what are we up to here? We've got to figure out how to. Yeah, we got to figure out how to pop that base. It's not going to be easy. Leia with a sabotage over in. Yep. Okay, over in Utapau. So now he's got 3 sabotages down. That's blocking an assault carrier, a TIE fighter, and a stormtrooper. And sabotaging an entire quadrant. So we'll go ahead and play Mahdi's card here to force him to remove the sabotages or to roll 2 dice. And I didn't zoom in on the dice, but he rolled, and he actually rolled a special. So that moves him back a rep. So Rebels are at -1 from their starting rep, thanks to Mahdi's card. And then we got an alliance built in Seleucami. Now I kept the Emperor back, or not the Emperor. Did I have the Emperor back? Maybe I did. Anyway, I'm not going to block that because we got a million dice. So Rebels are going to get to deploy 2 Mon Cals there if they want, and that's going to be pretty tough to deal with, especially since I have no Star Destroyers on queue to combat those 2 Mon Cals and those 2 Nebulons. So got to start moving the Death Star into position. I don't really have a whole lot of choice here. If you're low on Star Destroyers, or if there's a bunch of Mon Cals floating out, the Death Star is really your best weapon for it. You just got to try to not wander it into its death, which is usually what I do. So, to be determined. What else do we need to do? We're going to move the entire group out of Seleucid because right now they're scoring the blockade objective, so that clears that out. And then the Emperor's going to go ahead and move to Dagobah. We're trying to kind of limit the areas they can rapid to, also trying to prevent objectives from being scored and just cover locations, because even though we know where the base is, we can't just move everything that direction. Everybody's got jobs to do. So we're going to see what a rapid results in here. All right, so what do we have in our data bank? We still have a planetary conquest, although we have 3 eligible spots that the Rebels could be in. I think most likely in Kessel, probably 1A option would be Mon Cal, and option 3 is Felucia. There's Yavin and Nalhada. Okay, those are good. I'll take those. So if he didn't rapid this time, but if he does again, he's got a Hoth Endor combo. There's some spots in the middle of the map. There's also Ilum. All right, now I have the option of taking Veers or Yularen here. I don't have any 3 intel cards, but rule of thumb is I always take somebody with 3 intel. The problem here is I really need Veers because he's got Chewbacca to block. So Veers gives me the best chance of pulling off a planetary conquest, and it gives me the ready for action card, which is a great card. It can negate some of the Rebels' advantages when it comes to combat. So I'm low on capital ships, so I really kind of need everything to stay alive. So the more cards I have to give me a chance with that, the better. I think Piet's going to have his hands full this game. Really need Thrawn to come lead us to victory here. All right, 2 in the base. No starfighters in the base, though, so I'm not too worried about the star. Plus, there's no level 2 objectives yet. So Nebulon and Moncal in each location. No ground troops being deployed anywhere. And again, I have no capital ships to deploy. So what I can do is drop a shield bunker that's kind of like a capital ship. The decisions I need to make right now are, do I attack with Ozzel or do I not, and do I try to withstand some sort of an attack? Now, because both Moncals weren't deployed in Salukami, or in Salakami or Salukami, that makes me think that the base is probably in Kessel. My 2 assault carriers are not enough to take out a Moncal with that TIE fighter, so I'm going to go ahead and drop the shield bunker there, but that's more to protect the Star Destroyer that might come in on top of it later. And what I did is I edited out a lot of thinking here. So I went back and forth between, do I attack with Ozzel or not? And I don't actually know what the right move is. I don't want those Moncals to group up together if possible. The nightmare scenario is they attack Toydaria and take it down, and then my 2 Star Destroyers can't group up. So I think my only move here is Ozzel. I mean, I could play Ready for Action with Piet and try to survive and then retreat, and then play Ozzel next round, but it seems way too risky. So instead, I'm going to go for a Planetary Conquest and Detain combo, because I just drew Detain. So the idea would be do a Conquest. If we can isolate where the base is, do a Conquest. They try to block it. Hopefully it succeeds. And then I do a Detain. I play around with the idea of putting Vader on the mission, with the idea of I'll put Veers down there first to help me roll, to try to draw him off that mission, but we'll see how this goes here first. So Ozzel's up. We're going to consolidate. This is not a battle that looks particularly winnable here, but I think I've got some potential to take out some starfighters if I do this right. So we have some cards we can play here. We can flip the combat. Now the downside to flipping the combat, which is normally the right card to play, is that I don't have it to play with the shield bunker I just deployed, which is the whole reason I deployed that shield bunker. So otherwise I should have just put an ATST there. I could also play the no heal card, but he might just remove damage with the Corvette and call it good. So instead I'll do the flip the combat card. I don't know if that's right or not. I think that the TIE Striker card or the TIE Fighter card would have been a good one to play here if I had one more ship, but I don't. So he's going to block hits. I'm going to flip the combat, and then I'm going to force him to flip it back, or to play the Nebulon card for the top. He, in this instance, chooses to play the remove damage rather than the flip. I think flipping the combat might be the right play for him, but I don't really know. So comments in the comment box if you want to talk about that. Instead, he's going to roll first, which is going to give my guys a better chance of healing. If you're rolling second, then you have the control over the heals. He forgot to bring Lando in, but that's not a big deal. I feel like that's minor things to worry about. Now let's pretend this is his second roll for a moment. Excuse the dog in the background. I've got a Labrador, and his name is FN2187. It's his legal name, but we just call him Finn. Well, that's right. It's all Star Wars all the time in this house. I've even got twins for my kids who into clone troopers, or at least when they were younger. Twin number 1 is a Commander Rex type. Twin number 2 is a Cody type. So that's what we got there. All right. So anyway, let's say this was, what are we talking about? If this was his second roll instead of rolling first, he could easily take out a Star Destroyer, the Striker, and a assault carrier, and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. So instead, he has to assign damage and overkill the 2 assault carriers, basically kind of neutralizing 2 damage there. So let's take a look and see how I roll here. No heals, but some damage. 2 of those are blocked by the Moncal card. That card is so good, it's crazy. I did some damage to Starfighters. He's going to be able to remove those with the Nebulon card. So that's, it is what it is. I just got to try to do as much damage as possible here. I should probably re-roll another black dice too. Yeah, green and nope. Okay, that's what we're doing, I guess. All right, another red. I think I would have liked to have another black damage there, but 2 reds on the Corvette. Yep. And then now he gets to heal 3 of them. And most likely it'll be 1 damage removed off the Corvette, and then probably save both of the Y-Wings. So in this instance, so far, I have lost 2 assault carriers and a striker, and have killed 1 X-Wing, 1 Y-Wing. Not so good. Okay, is what it is though. Did pull out the Nebulon card, did pull out the Moncal card. And really, as an Imperial player, you're going to lose your first ship combat. Especially if it involves Moncals. There's just really no way around it. Star Destroyer got accidentally taken off the board there. So we'll grab that. And then I have a little bit of a brain fart here. I play the ATST card, and I left the transport alive, so they just retreat into Kessel, which now we know Kessel's got to be the rebel base there. I mean, unless that's a huge bluff. So, all right, I'm going to put the Emperor on Rule by Fear. I'm going to swap Veers and Vader here and stop getting cute because I need to just do what I need to do. Veers will help with the detain too in Kessel. So my strategy here is I need to just kind of keep pressing the attack. I'm going to hope that he doesn't have a good spot to move. I'm going to hope he doesn't have a good spot to move. And I'm going to move my troops to Toydaria, maybe to Best, or maybe to Nalhutta, group everything up, make sure he can't move out, and then move in. I have 2 assault carriers I can deploy, which are pretty good. So before he does a build alliance or anything fancy in Kessel, I'm going to go ahead and drop Veers there because I don't want any more red fists there than Lando plus whoever else is coming to block, unless he doesn't block this, which is a possibility. He doesn't, just Lando. Okay, I roll a 4, he rolls a 0, and Kessel is revealed. Now, even if the base was not in Kessel, I think this is still the right move because we could wipe rebel units and we could prevent them from building an alliance on Kessel. So I kind of weighed the pros and cons of attacking, and that's what we ended up with. There's no shield generator here, and I just wasted my overrun card, which Chalky, who's viewing this, is mocking me with at the moment. I don't blame him, man. That was a dumb move. I really would have liked to have that here. Instead, I got to play target the generators and just do a single red damage. Even the 501st card doesn't do me a lot of good because he's over maximum number of blacks. So I could flip the combat. I could do a red damage. I think Probably flipping the combat's the right move. These are all kind of bad choices. Really, the only card I needed here was Overrun. So instead, I play Imposing Presence. I don't know why. I knew he was going to play tow cables. And then I guess with the idea of maybe trying to protect against confrontation, but I don't know what on earth I was thinking. So this is like probably a tilted moment if I'm being totally honest here. Like frustrated with how that last space combat went, even though it was how that was going to go. Anything better would have been unusually unlucky on my end. So I'm gonna make him roll first, but I didn't need to play Imposing Presence. I could have saved that for the next round. So I could have just done that card and had the same result and then had Imposing Presence for the next round. But we'll see. All right, so we'll flip the combat. That gets me rolling heals. He's going to do 3 damage. So far, he needs 1 more hit to wipe everything. He's got 4 hits total. That's enough to wipe the map if he wants, or he can save it for confrontation, or he can just make sure he's got the ATST, which is what it looks like he's doing. 3 and all 4 damage on the ATST. Okay, so ATST, AT-AT are toast. The troops aren't going to be enough to deal with anything on their own. I do get 3 rerolls. Veers is like Krennic's finest in that instance. It's got 3. Got a black hit, 2 black hits, and a speeder. So got 2 vanguards and a speeder taken out here. Or troopers, I guess. He's got all troopers. So he's got 5 troops and a speeder left. Okay, so he's rolling 5 black dice and a red. I have 2 troops left. Nothing healed. He's rolling first. So the question is, do I blow up a troop to reduce his total number of dice? But the problem is if I do that, he's still at 5. Or do I roll a block to try to prevent confrontation, which is what he plays there. And the idea is I'm rolling second, so I've got my heals, and he can try for the kill. But unless he rolls 4 hits, I just need 1 heal with 4 dice because I've got a block. So he would actually need 5 hits. Okay, so he's got 4 hits. I block 1 of them, so he does 2 and 1. And then with that combo, I'll have 2 damage on one, 1 damage on another. And then I just need to roll 1 heal here, which I do. Had 4 chances to do it. I just count the bottom dice in there in that instance. So I got a heal, got a hit. He's down to 4 troops and a speeder, but no more confrontation. And I can play the 501st here and take out another troop, and maybe I'll get a second hit too. He should probably flip the combat back, but he might be saving that for another turn. I'll play the 501st here. Yep. Okay, we'll both do that then. Both lose a guy. Okay, so Veer's sitting in Lando's domain here at the moment. And again, I kind of got to do the detain early. Now, one of the things you might need to be worried about here, in this instance, it doesn't matter because he played independent operation. You need to remember Lando can also undercover. So you would want to play your missions in a way which, like detain doesn't prevent him from undercovering, but it will stick him to wherever he wants, wherever he undercovers to. All right, so Jin's drawing an objective with Covert Ops. That's a really good card. Okay, and I am slowly realizing I have a mess with my objectives, but first let's put Raid Outpost where it needs to go. So we picked Raid Outpost, even though I have a couple of remotes covered. So I'll stick 1 in Tatooine, 1 in Dagobah. The other one must have been Time for Peace, is my guess. So he's got 2 objectives on the board he can nab, but I haven't covered right now. So what I'm realizing with my missions is I have Emperor on Rule by Fear with the idea of going to Utapau and then removing the sabotage, and then on top of that doing a address delays to get some stuff on the board. I'm desperate for capital ships. The problem is that he's still got a blocker back, and that blocker is Leia, and that's a bad combo. That's all right. Vader moves out to Toydaria, trying to prevent a sabotage there. And Chewie, instead of sabotaging, is Rogue Squadron raiding, which that is a nightmare because my only 2 capital ships I built all game are now toast. If you check the chat box here, and it's the definition of getting wrecked. So now I've got a mess on my hands. And because Vader went to Toydaria to get the coverage of the shield bunker, because that happened, I now have nothing in Nal Hutta. So he can build an alliance in Nal Hutta, and I cannot block that because the Emperor is busy trying to build Star Destroyers. Okay. Piet moves. Build alliance in Nal Hutta. That makes sense. Welcome our 3rd Mon Cal to the team here. Could have done it in Kessel, but doing it in Kessel, I mean, chances are you're just going to move the Mon Cal there anyway. All right, so now I got to try this nonsense because it's really my only chance to get some stuff going here. So I don't have any other leaders I can stack out in Utapau, so I just need to try it. It's a 3 roll, and Leia's going to try to block it with 2. So I just need a good roll here, and then I'll be in good shape. I'll roll 3. Leia rolls 3, and 1,000,000 Imperial fleet officers' hearts break. So now my R&D is worthless, and now my address delays is also just going to be used for a assault carrier, which that's too bad because Chewie just took 2 out himself. And we've got a sabotaged Saleucami, so that's not looking good either. So we'll go ahead and address delays in Ord Mantell and hope we don't get uprising. Well, I guess confrontation was already played, so we're right there. Okay, get a assault carrier and an ATST on the board. Not looking so hot. Riken is back. Riken is passing, which means Riken can try to block detain. Mahdi will go ahead and R&D. So instead of getting 2 Star Destroyers on the map, we will instead get 0. And go ahead and grab an interdictor to make up for, to address delays, as it were. Put Mahdi to some more work there. I mean, to be fair, I can still pull off the Rule by Fear and R&D next turn, but it would be nice to not have to spend 4 leaders to do that and just 2 in one time. All right, we're going to roll for detain. I've got 3 plus 2, and there's 2 defenders there. I've got 3 plus 2 for 5, and he rolls a 4. Whew, thank God for those plus 2s. All right, Lando's detained. I got a chance. All right, would have been a better chance if I had those extra 2 assault carriers, but let's figure out what we can do here. So first, Rebels have got to decide if they're going to score an objective or not. They are not doing okay on the objective front. Rebels are at -1, and we're entering turn 6. True Felucia. Still got Hoth and Endor to worry about. Got another address delays. I can take Boba Fett, or I can take Krennic's Finest. Very similar, except for Krennic's Finest is better at ground combat. Boba's got some intel, but we don't really need intel cards here. And then with Finest, so Finest seems like the logical choice. And then since Veers has already played his card, and Finest is basically just an upgraded Veers with the same attack, same icons, plus 2 small fists as well. He'll just eat Veers. Don't need Veers to do anything anymore. Except maybe his ready for action card, but most likely that'll be a Piet thing anyway. All right, so what do we got going on here? We got the Mon Cal deployed in Nal Hutta, which that can come out and attack Toydaria, right? If it attacks Toydaria, I can ready for action with Piet, or I can play tag to get the the card for the shield bunker back. Most likely what I would do is play Piet's card and hope that I can just win that combat. I mean, he's got a Y-Wing there, but the Y-Wing card's already been played, the Mon Cal card's already been played, the Flip the Combat card's already been played, and I have both of my red damage and a striker there. So there's a decent chance I take out that Mon Cal if he attacks, especially with bringing Piet for the rerolls. So I feel pretty good about that. Excuse the chair. Then if the Mon Cal moves to Kessel, then I've got a 3 Mon Cal group there, and then I have another decision to make. Do I consolidate and bring the Death Star in and risk Death Star plans, or do I attack, try to cover the base, and even though I won't kill that group of Mon Cals, maybe try to take out some of the support vehicles and the Starfighters. If I can take out the Starfighters, the Death Star is not in a whole lot of damage, or not in a whole lot of stress. I would really like secure the plans right now, but no such luck, Wombat. No such luck. So 2 Nebulons, 3 cruisers, a Y-Wing. I mean, it's basically a max dice situation, and I don't have anywhere near that. But, you know, get an interdictor on the board, move the Death Star up, maybe that'll get me a chance. So we'll see what nonsense we come up with here. Also, still have the problem, no production. So I want you to look at that interdictor card and then think to yourself, Wombat, where are you going to play an interdictor at? Can't be Corellia. Don't have any ships next to Corellia. Can't be Mon Cal, because I'm not moving my only Star Destroyer to Mon Cal. And got Utapau, but that's going to require a rule by fear to work. So I guess is what it is. It might be worth putting Vader and Palps on Rule by Fear. But, you know what? We're just going for it. So Vader's actually going to go on a capture. Why? Why is Vader going on a capture? So the reason is, if the rebels want to be tricky, they can infiltrate in Utapau, because now they see I'm on Interdictor or Super Star Destroyer, both of which require a blue tile. So they could maybe not open with, depending on what this first move with the ships are here. And actually, on a side note, if you check the chat, what the Rebs wanted to do was attack out into Toydaria and bring everything, but we pointed out Lando was detained, so that was not an option. So instead, they'll consolidate. Now, they could infiltrate in Utapau with Leia, let's say, or even the old man, and that would give them extra dice if they were trying to prevent an alliance from being built out there, or fear from being built out there. So I'm now counting my troops, figuring out what to do, and I say, you know what, I just can't risk it. I'm going to go ahead and rule by fear out in Utapau. He's only got Han Solo back, and thankfully Leia was not on Subversion. If she was, that was going to be a nightmare, because I'd lose my interdictor ability too. So I had to do it. Mothma's going to incite in Bothui. Okay. So I got one guy out there, and I'll have to play my Bombard card to draw that back here afterwards, even though I'd kind of like to have it for the next fight. That's okay. The AT card's okay for the next fight too. So I'll play this to do a damage. Flip the combat. Yep. Have a chance to kill a second one here. Might score liberation here, maybe. Yep, just one. They do one back. Okay. See if they get an objective. So they're pretty close to scoring Support of the Hutts. Okay, no objective. Pretty close to getting that that target marker up in Tatooine. Pretty close to lots of things. Okay, Interdictor. I got to get that off before the Utapau area vacates. And I didn't rule by fear, or I didn't R&D, or did I R&D? Maybe I did R&D. I didn't address delays. All right, building an alliance. 3 moves left, a capture, which was originally designed to counter an early infiltrate. I guess I did do an address delay. What I needed to do was an R&D, which because this is a build turn, but again, didn't think everything through. Would have been nice to save that for... Anyway, that's fine. So, where to go? Sabotage. Corellia. Okay. I think they're thinking Vader might be on trade relations. Or whatever that card is. Alright, so tag is going in to... Oh, tag is just sitting there. Piet was going to go in, and then that's why the rebels are over there, but I decided not to send Piet in. Instead, I just decided to send tag to hang out. So now we got a rapid, and then now we're going to move in with Piet. So the reason to send tag to hang out is because we could play more dangerous than he previously appeared. And we got a nice little fight going on here. And by nice little fight, I mean I have no idea how I'm going to try to win this, but we're going to just try to do damage. I'll play more dangerous than we realized, and I'll grab my space cards back. That'll let me flip the combat, because again, the Nebulon card's not there, and I can block hits again. Both of those are nice cards. Would be nicer if I had a Super Star Destroyer there, but I do not. Alright, so I've got 2 Star Destroyers, 4 dice, 2 Strikers, and a bunch of TIE Fighters. So what are my goals here? I need to protect the Death Star, so I need to wipe the Starfighters. So probably flipping the combat here is the right move. And they will cancel it. Yep, that makes sense. Every Rebel card is good. So cancel my flipping the combat. That's okay. I can play no heals next turn, so that'll work. Alright, so let's do some damage. Nice damage. 3 Starfighter hits, 4 red hits, an additional crit. Nothing on the rerolls. That's okay, though. Nice job, Piet. Okay, so now we'll be in really good shape if the Rebels don't roll a bunch of heals here. And I can afford to do just even damage on everything because I've got the no heal card next turn. So I've got 3 damage plus 2 more. So the question is, do I overkill a Mon Cal, or do I do 2 damage to the Corvette and then 3 to a Nebulon? Which, that's what I end up doing here. I'll do 2 damage to the Corvette, I'll do 3 damage to a Nebulon, and I'll keep the Mon Cals around. Now, he can't kill enough Starfighters, so I'll have the 2 TIE Fighter card available too. I just need not a bunch of damage here, or not a bunch of heals. So we've got exactly what we don't need. So we got 2 heals, we got 3 heals, including a Starfighter, which is nightmare scenario. Because now we can keep that X-Wing back and go after the Death Star. Okay, heal the Nebulon, heal the Corvette, heal an X-Wing. 1, 2, 3, 4 damage onto a Star Destroyer. Both of the Strikers are dead. And it's just got to figure out what Starfighter to save here. We'll save a X-Wing. Alright, so I got 2 Y-Wings in exchange for 2 Strikers and a Star Destroyer. And some other damage. So, not so good. Okay, I need to... now I want you to think about what to do here while we fight this ground combat. So, ground combat is a red damage. And do that on the airspeeder. Okay, I'll say no heal. And I'll roll a bunch of damage here. Hopefully. Got tag at the bottom. Yep. Okay, good job, tag. So I want you to think about what our options are at space combat. One is to keep the Star Destroyer there, roll 2 extra dice, and roll the no heal card. So if we do all that, we have a chance of taking out the 2. Have a chance of taking out the Nebulon, the Corvette, the X-Wing, but at the risk of losing that other Star Destroyer and then having nothing up in that section now that the assault carriers are down. Or we can retreat the Star Destroyer and leave the TIE Fighters, or some of the TIE Fighters, and then we can either play the TIE Fighter card to do damage to the capital ships and then take out the X-Wing, or we can play the no heal card and rely on rolling some crits. Now we got P up there, so we need to leave at least 3 TIE Fighters so we can take advantage of the rerolls. What I'm actually going to decide to do is I'm actually going to decide to leave, I believe, 5 TIE Fighters behind to roll max dice and then get 3 rerolls. With the no heal card, I stand a pretty good chance of getting 2 crits. It's not unheard of to get 2 crits there, and then also a black head. And then if that's the case, I would lose 4 or 5 TIE Fighters in exchange for an X-Wing, a Nebulon, and a Corvette. And that's going to be the right roll there. So I'll take 2 TIE Fighters back. I think I should have left 5, but instead I'll leave 4. Oh, yep, I think through that. Okay, so we're leaving 5. So now we have 5. Gives me should roll about 1 crit here. And then I can re-roll 3 of the non-crits to try to roll another crit, and that's like a 50% chance. So I feel like I should get 2 crits and a black hit here, and that's kind of all I'm looking for with the no heal. And then doesn't matter how many heals he rolls, and doesn't matter if he wipes the TIE Fighters or not. If he doesn't wipe the TIE Fighters, then I can play the TIE Fighter card next round, and then possibly take out that transport of the Nebulon. All right, off to a bad start. Rolled my black hit, so now I need my 2 crits. Rolled 3 more black hits. Okay, that's a dead X-Wing. We forgot the objective here. It's what you get for not having Soontir there, I guess. As long as they don't kill all 4, I still have a chance. Nope, they got all 4. Okay. I just lost 5 TIE Fighters in exchange for 1 X-Wing. So not a good decision. All right, so now let's take a quick shot at what we got going on in Kessel. We got 3 Moncals, 1 Corvette, 1 transport, 2 Nebulons, and a Partridge in a Pear Tree against a TIE Fighter, a Shield Bunker, and a Star Destroyer. Okay. Well, that'll be fun. I got an Interdictor coming, and I got the Death Star coming, so you know what? We'll be okay. Got plans, secure the plans, or steal the plans. Okay, now let's think about that. We got a build queue coming, and they've got an X-Wing they can put on the board. However, because Planetary went off, they cannot build the X-Wing next to the Death Star. So they can't blow up the Death Star next round. So I'm just going to charge the Death Star into a sabotaged, subjugated Rebel system, a big no-no. I'm going to just kind of bluff that I have a laser here, because I guess I don't even need a laser. I just need to fly a Death Star in, and if they don't have plans, there's nothing they can do about it. And Vader's going to try to capture against Leia here. And Han's going to come in to protect her. Again, this wasn't the real purpose of this. It was more to just make sure my Interdictor got off. Okay, so now what to do? They're going to score Long War. No, they're not. Not going to score Long War. They have Long War. No objectives. Going to decide if they move the base or not. Now, they really have to move the base, because if they don't, I can just move the Death Star in, and there's nothing they can do about it unless they, build an X-Wing in Nal Hutta and move it in there. But they don't have the Nebulon card, and they don't have enough time to play the Saw's card and then move the X-Wing in. So they really have no choice but to move the base. So they move it. They can move it to Moncal, Dathomir, Ilum, Malastare, Cato, Alderaan, Hoth, or Endor. Great. Or Bothwy, even. Okay. On the plus side, I've got an Interdictor coming out. So I just got to put stuff where I can cover it. I drew Kashyyyk, drew Ilum. Okay, so 7 possible locations, of which I have an assault carrier that can cover 1 of 2. I can deploy in Kashyyyk to cover 1 of 2. I'm assuming my Toydarian Star Destroyer is toast. And with a Rebel cell that just got dropped off in Bothawui, I think there's a reasonable chance the base has probably moved to Bothawui. Okay, what do we need to do here, folks? We need to get that Rebel cell. We need to find a way to kill these ships. I mean, Rebels are almost out of space cards, almost. They still got the transport card left. I have an interdictor coming out, and I have a bunch of combat cards that are useful. So let's brainstorm a little bit. Rebels deployed in a way where it looks like they're going to take out that Star Destroyer, probably first move. Then, if I'm the Rebels, after taking out the Star Destroyer, I probably retreat to Bothawui. Right? I don't have Ozzel anymore. I can't preempt any of that. So what can I do? Okay, well, if they attack into Toydaria, I can use Piet to keep them there with my no retreat card. Okay, if I do that, hopefully I can take out both of those starfighters so then they can't kill the Death Star. Then I can move in with the Death Star and laser a Moncal and maybe take out another one. So in my deployment here, I have to be conscious about covering places and also killing Rebel ships. So I'll put the interdictor in Kashyyyk, because then I can move in with the interdictor and the Death Star, cancel whatever card, hopefully kill 2 Moncals, and then they can retreat to Bothawui at that point. I'll deploy my fighter in Toydaria to try to kill their fighters, because again, that's super critical. And then maybe, I mean, who knows, if I can cycle my cards, maybe I can use my shield bunker card, which is my plan all the time, the whole time there. Although I think because I pulled tag, I don't really have that option. Shield bunker cards done me not so great. All right, moving on. Okay, so I've got another interdictor to build. I've got Piet's card to play. I don't really think that's the right thing to do here. I've got to basically keep enough to move. So I got to get that assault carrier to Hoth or Endor. I have to get the other assault carrier in Megiddo up to Dathomir or down to Ilum. I have to probably send Piet to Toydaria. And then I have to use a unit to move the Death Star into Toydaria. And then maybe keep another unit or 2 to move that Star Destroyer down to Celeste. Or maybe the interdictor somewhere else. So I should probably put 2 people on this interdictor card. But the problem is, well, I mean, that's something I could do. Problem is I need the moves. So instead I'll just build 1 more interdictor instead of spending 2 leaders on it this turn. And we're opening with a Jin attack out against a Star Destroyer and 2 spaceships. Now, interestingly enough, he is not bringing the 2 starfighters. Okay. Got 5 dice to roll. He's out of cards to play. And what I want to do is I want to trap him here. So I'm going to play Piet. Come on, Wombat, just play Piet. Then I'm going to play No Retreat. That's going to pin him here. Oh, there is an X-Wing in there. He did bring the Y-Wing too. Okay, so I'll play No Retreat, and I'm going to try to kill the X-Wing, the Y-Wing, and then survive with my Star Destroyer. So probably play Overwhelming Presence here. Yeah, I think he brought the ships because he didn't want me to play the TIE Fighter card, which is probably what I would have done otherwise. So we'll try to survive. It probably won't last, but you never know. He's going to play No Heal, so I got to block these hits. Nice. Okay, 2 reds blocked. So now he's got 2 black damage that I can't heal. And then he cannot roll enough damage to take out the Star Destroyer. So both of those guys are dead. And now roll my damage and re-roll my heal. Nope, re-roll the heal. What are you doing, Wombat? Are we forgetting what was played? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Nope. Yep, re-roll it. Come on, he's got no heal. For some reason, I'm not paying attention to the cards that are being played. There we go. All right, extra damage. That makes sense. 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1 fighter, 2 fighters. Take out the other fighter and the Corvette. Take out the other fighter and the Corvette. Take out the other fighter and the Corvette. Problem is I don't want to retreat, because if I retreat, then I've got my interdictor pinned or my other guy pinned. So I guess we're taking out a Nebulon, and we're just going to leave that X-Wing there to torment the Death Star. Okay, so I got a reroll here. He can block hits, which is not a good combo, but we'll do it. Guess I'm thinking I can just over-damage it next turn, and hopefully he doesn't, I guess whatever. Whatever works. Should probably be playing a damage card here. Who's going to do one? I'm going to do one. I'm going to try to take out that other Nebulon. That seems like a low chance of success play. Yes, let's take out the Corvette, please. Okay, good. All right. Damage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 damage. +1 is 6. +1 more is 7. I cannot heal the Star Destroyer. It's dead, but I do get 3 rerolls. I need a black hit and a red hit. Got them both. And another red hit. So I got to take out the X-Wing. I'm going to have an extra damage floating around here is what it is. All right, fair enough. Maybe I should have gone after a Moncal. That's okay. Star Destroyer's dead. It took out a Y-Wing, an X-Wing, a Nebulon, and a Corvette. That's very good, and it pinned everything else there. So now I can move in. It doesn't matter who I use to move in. Jin's grabbing something to fight for. They scored the Kill a Star Destroyer card, and she's got it back. Okay. Not got it back, puts it on top of the deck. We talk about that here briefly. Okay. So we know they're going to have another Kill a Star Destroyer card, which is probably okay because I'm basically out of Star Destroyers. All right, I'm going to bring in Krennic's Finest, make it hard to sabotage that location, send Piet into battle yet again, bring the Death Star, the Interdictor, all my TIE fighters. Now, interesting situation here. I can either play the Interdictor card and then play another card, or I can just assume they're going to play trash and then play another card and hope the Interdictor survives. I think in this particular situation, it's just well enough to play the Interdictor card. I could always say no card next round, but really I want to play a laser, so I think I probably should just play the laser here without the Interdictor, but you know what? We're just doing it. It'll help me cycle my cards. I'll have another Interdictor on the queue here in a little bit. Alright, so he's going to play block black hits. Doesn't do any good for him. That was his last card. So, and he's going to retreat. I don't know what I was doing. I knew that was his last card too. Should have used the Interdictor to do something else, to tell you the truth, because now he's got a bunch of red hits and probably going to kill it. So there we go. Not thinking things through very well. But, I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I guess I want the extra damage. So let's kill some Moncals here. Nope. 1, 2. Reroll, reroll, reroll. Let's get some damage here. 3 hits. 4 hits. So I got 1 Moncal with 5, and I could do 1 with 4. I'll do 6, maybe 6 and 3. Nope, 7, 7 and 2. What am I doing? 7? I guess I'm worried he's going to roll 3 heals. I just need 6. Yeah, there we go. 6 and 3, but I'm not sure why I'm not damaging the Nebulon there. It's not like that Moncal's going to stay around for longer. Alright, I'm just saying whatever. I'm just wanting to kill one Mon-Cal, apparently. Should probably roll for the... Yeah, maybe it was right. 2 heals, tons of damage, Interdictor's dead, all my starfighters are dead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, just 1 starfighter's dead. Okay, the Interdictor took the hits for 2 of my TIE fighters, so I guess whatever. Alright, got 1 Mon-Cal. The rest are running away. I am in Toydaria. These guys are now in Bothwy. This Death Star has gone from Coruscant to Ord to Mandalore to Seleucami to Toydaria, and now it's set for the Rebel Cell in Ord. We're finally removing the sabotage here. Alright, let's see what we get. Got a laser. Probably don't need that, but okay. Chewie's going to sabotage Utapau because I'm not a patient person and I play cards out of order. And it works. Alright, so got a laser that I'm probably not going to use and still don't get to build any Star Destroyers. I guess I built them last turn. Alright. Another Interdictor. Yay. On turn 2. That'll be enough. I'll cycle my cards by then and get another cancel play. Leia's going to build an alliance out in Mon-Cal. Keep in mind, Mon-Cal's a spot where they can hide or where they can run to. So where to cover? So I got to cover Endor because then I can deploy and get Hoth easier, but I don't know whether or not to go to Ilum first or to go to Dathomir. Because if I go to Dathomir, I can get to Mon-Cal easier, which is a likely spot of the base, if not on Bothwy. And then I can also, I don't know. I've also got some one single assault carrier to deploy to. So I think I go to Dathomir is my thought. And then cover Ilum with my deploying assault carrier. And then try to fight my way back up to Mon-Cal with something. With those 2 assault carriers, I guess. I don't know. It's gross. Tough situation here. They can also be in Malastare or Cato, and I am not adjacent to either of those because I moved the Interdictor. Interdictor probably should have stayed behind and gone to Cato. That would have been probably the right decision there. That Death Star doesn't need an Interdictor up there, especially without the cancel card. Actually, so speaking of the cancel card, I'm going to really regret not having the cancel card when that Y-Wing deploys and they decide to fly into the Death Star. Now, of course, luckily for me, I built a shield bunker there 5 years ago, which is now going to be sort of useful. Meanwhile, Krennic's Finest still not doing anything with their capture, and Rebels are passing with 2 leaders on still. Maybe a rescue or something, I don't know. Vader's going to go to Seleucid. That's going to help me cover either Cato or Malastare next turn. So I've got Hoth covered next turn. I'll deploy to cover Ilum. I have nothing to deal with Mon-Cal with, if that's where it is. And you'll see a note here. I did some poor editing that I caught later. Rebels are changing the base. The base was actually in Malastare, which reveals a troop and a speeder there. And then now they pick a new base location, which is going to be either Hoth, Cato, Ilum, or Mon-Cal, or Bothwy. Okay. Well, here we go. Also, not helpful probe cards, but I did draw a couple of nice diplomacy cards finally. Also, there's a raid outpost sitting up in Tatooine right now. I don't love that. Okay, gotta discard a bunch of cards and figure out what to do here. Now, lucky for me, I got 2 assault carriers, one from Toydaria and one from, I guess, my address delays. So I start off with the idea of I'll put one in Toydaria. I don't know why. Also with the idea that I'll put one in Ord. Apparently. Yep, there we go. The idea is, well, I'm open to a hit and run for sure. Hit and run, taking out any of my assault carriers is bad. I move the assault carrier from Toydaria and move it down to Mandalore. The idea is Mandalore can go to Felucia. Ord can go down to Ilum. If one gets taken out, I can shift Mandalore down to Ord, and then I can shift Dathomir over to Mandalore. I have a bunch of time, so I'm okay for the moment. We're heading into turn number 8. Rebels have to score a bunch of objectives. They only have 2, thanks to Dodonna grabbing one. So now they have a level 2, and they have a level 1. But they have Rebel Cell, which they just scored on last turn. So, and they're about to pick up another objective here. So it looks like we have time, but in some ways we don't. And with a sizable Rebel fleet floating around, I mean, the Death Star's in pretty good shape, so I'm okay with that. I've got Emperor on Display of Power, so the idea is Vader's going to try to draw out the blocker with trade relations, try to draw Leia out. Jin's going to go over and try to grab this objective here that I left one single solitary stormtrooper on. Going to bring a Mon-Cal and 3 troops. Okay, now that's kind of fun because we're splitting the Mon-Cals up, so I can still go for the Mon-Cal with the Death Star. The problem is that it's got a Y-Wing and a Nebulon on there, so I have to, if I go in there, I have to make sure I kill that Y-Wing so we don't have a Death Star plan situation going on. Because now that Tatooine is cleared, that's an eligible rapid location as well. So I'll bring the Death Star, I'll bring my 3 ATSTs, and I'll bring all my little fighters. So Piet's at it again. We're going to play the TIE Fighter card, which is going to give me 2 damage. Now, they're only rolling 1 black dice, and I need to assume that's going to be a heal. Okay, so if they roll a heal, and now they play the Nebulon card, right? So 1 heal plus 2 remove damage. I need to do 4 damage on the Y-Wing. I have 2 on there already from the TIE Fighter card, and 2 more. So now the Y-Wing cannot be healed. And then I've got 4 extra damage floating around. And I've got 3 rerolls. 6. So I should be doing probably 6 on the Mon-Cal. I guess I'll just do it on the Nebulon. Alright, I don't know. I think that's whatever. That's fine. If he rolls a heal, I wouldn't be able to kill the Mon-Cal, and then the Nebulon gets away too. So, yep, we'll do it that way. So we can take 4 off that, but I have 2 underneath it. Or no, I don't. So he can't heal it, even with a reroll or whatever. He can heal the Nebulon if he rolls 3 heals. We're talking about that with sign language here at the moment. And then that is his last starfighter on the board. So Gold Leader goes down. The Nebulon goes down. I lose a striker. That's okay. Piet has been a champ so far. Rebel Cell has been squashed. The Mon-Cal retreats to Tatooine. So Tatooine is still an eligible rapid location. I have lots of options to deploy around there. And I now have an Interdictor, a Star Destroyer, finally on round 1 queue. And an Assault Carrier. So as long as Chewie doesn't demo them, we should be in pretty good shape here. So now I just need to suss out the base, and I really need to check Mon-Cal. In order to check Mon-Cal, well, I guess it doesn't matter because Leia already moved out. So Leia moved out, flip Mon-Cal over. That is not the base. That is a huge relief. So now at this point, it's either in Ilum, Cato, or Hoth, and we know we're going to cover those with the 3 movements we have left, assuming something doesn't get hit and ran. And because Chewie hasn't done anything yet, I'm assuming we're in pretty good shape. So Mothma's going to build loyalty in Rhodia, probably prepping for a Tatooine move. Or nope. Yep, Rhodia. Okay. Nope, she's going to remove loyalty off Geonosis. Okay, so planning on Tatooine for a rapid location. So Vader can grab loyalty in Rhodia, but first we're going to check some locations. So where is the most likely location to need help? I'm going to say it's actually in Hoth because I'm the furthest away from reinforcements from there. So I'll use Krennic's Finest in Hoth. That's actually not the base. It's actually not the most likely spot for the base. I think the most likely spot for the base is actually Cato right now out of the 3. So I probably should have kept that back. Okay, we're rolling for a sabotage. Now, do I send an extra leader to block? I end up deciding not to, and I think that's actually a mistake. Luckily, Han only rolls 1. I do have a laser, so I think we're probably okay, but we're going to have the same problem again. It's going to be a build round. Rebels are going to get a ship to build. They're not going to have a Nebulon, but I don't have my TIE Fighter card anymore. Anyway, just a little bit more stressful than it needs to be. I'm going to R&D out in Utapau, so that way I can move things out towards Tatooine if I need to. Chewie is going to hit and run out in Kashyyyk. That's interesting. I would have thought maybe hit and run in Celeste, but maybe not, because maybe he didn't want me to move out there. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to bait me into there so he can Wookiee uproar. Anyway, now he's most likely in Cato. So I'll bring everything from Celeste over. I got my overrun card back finally. He is in Cato. I have a decent chance of winning this here. He's got tow cables back, so I need to overrun and score probably 2 other hits, and then I'll probably be in okay shape. So my guy's dead. Need to roll 2 black hits here is my goal. Would be nice to have Krennic's Finest here. I roll 3 heals, only reroll 1. Black hit. Okay, I need not a black hit or not a black heal or a red heal. Okay, there's a red hit and a crit, so my guy's toast. And he can re-roll his red and his blank and roll for a heal. If he does not roll a heal here, the game's over. And he rolled a heal. Okay, he's got 1 troop left in the Rebel base, and he can rapid. Okay, is what it is. Is what it is. Got our Star Destroyer out there. We can move into Alderaan, or we can move into Kashyyyk. I think Alderaan's actually the right move. Actually, I don't think it matters. I think Kashyyyk's actually the right move because we have enough to deploy. Alright, we're going to go ahead and build in Ilum, or we're going to cover Ilum. No, we're not going to cover Ilum. We're not going to cover Ilum. We're going to remove Nal Hutta. See if Riken tries to block that. He does. Okay, Riken is back because he just got all his combat cards back. Okay, Vader with a 2, Riken with a 0. That prevents him from building a starfighter. At least 2 starfighters, so he'll only be able to build 1 to deal with the Death Star. I've got enough TIE fighters there, too, to fight that guy off, so I think we'll be in okay shape. And I still have Piet's ready for action card, too. Okay, we're going to move to Alderaan. I think Kashyyyk might have been better because I could have deployed all my stuff on there to prevent uprising, but I guess Alderaan's okay, too. And then the idea is the Dathomir units are going to come down to Megiddo. So now his only eligible place is either Ilum or Tatooine. And I can build up in where the Death Star is. I can build down in Megiddo and Bothawui. I can deploy next to Cato. So we'll see what he draws. And there's actually lots of ineligible locations right now. And he did not draw any eligible locations to relocate. Wow. All right. I think we're at the end of the game here. So I fast forward a bit here. He did no missions. He had no deploy because he didn't move the base. He has no way of scoring 1, 2, 3, 4 objective points in one move. So he passes. I move my whole deployed force from Alderaan into Cato. There's one troop left in there. I have Bombard to do 2 damage. He cannot fight off a bunch of AT-ATs. So this, folks, is good game. Wow, crazy. Quite the movement from the Death Star there. Had this turn gone to fruition, he would have moved from Coruscant to Ord to Mandalore to Seleucami to Toydaria to everything. So if you guys don't want to see spoilers, should not be looking at this screen right now. There's current standings in the season we got right now. It's kind of cool. Got lots of people with lots of gameplays, some with many games to come. No big deal. We're going to go top 4 or top 6 for playoffs, and the top scores will just be the raw number of wins, with tiebreaker being like percentages. But I want to encourage people to play. Anyway, hope you like this. Looking forward to more of these, and I'll see you guys around.